This guy has no idea. Yo, what's up, my G? Yo, my dog, what's good? Well, here, give me a hug, dog. What's up? What's up?
Wait, what?
Much love to you, bro. Come on in. It's my crib. You already know how it is. It's the boy right here in the flesh. Oh, snap.
Oh, man.
You already know. So check it out. This is my crib.
Put on my shoes or?
No.
My passion really for web design kind of came from like 2014. Really, actually 2011. Like 2011, like 2012, I was trying to figure out what I was trying to do and stuff like that. And you know, I was like at Valencia, so I was like, you know, I was in my last year or so and everything like that. Like my freshman year, and you know, I was going to go for criminal justice, and I was like, you know, this is not something I really want to do. Like, you know, that's not my passion. Like I don't want to go to work to hate what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I was thinking, you know, what do I want to do for a living? What is it that what do I want to DonW want to do for the rest of my life that I would be okay with? Of course, you know, money played a factor. You know, I didn't want like a dead end job, somewhere working like barely making money, making ends meet and stuff like that. And I looked into it, and I was actually, I'll never forget, I was actually playing Halo 4 when it just came out. Halo 4 pretty much is what like determined what I was going to do. I remember looking at the controller, I was just like, I want to do game design. But I knew that was oversaturated.
Mm-hmm.
I knew with everything going on, everything in the world at the time, game design was starting to develop, and like in order to be a game designer, it's not very independent. Mm-hmm. You need to know people like in that field to get where you need to go. And at that time, you know, the only really big game company in Orlando, because I didn't really have any plans to move out of the state at the time, was Yay. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like the only like local place I could ever even get my foot into the door at anywhere. At that point, if I wanted to go to another company, I'd be moving to Texas or California or somewhere else. I was like, or Boston. So I did UCF, and I kind of went to, you know, the game design program, and it was on digital media. And you know, they had 3 different branches, like web design, graphic design, and game design. Thought about it with game design, like it's not gonna be cut for me. You know, my parents would never like really like be okay with it. You know, they wouldn't be okay with me going to school basically to learn how to make games. I'm telling them to do all day at the house. Mm-hmm. like every day I'm at the house playing games, like, nah, they're looking at me like, nah, no, you can go to school for something else. You don't go to school making games. all right, Pops, like, it is what it is. Shout out my Pops, though. He's a good guy. And I was like, all right, well, graphic design. So I'm looking, you know, I'm like, you know, Photoshop, Illustrator, you know, kind of stuff like that. But I'm like, you know, I looked into the requirements to graduate. And you had to submit a portfolio in order to tell, like, you know, if you can graduate or not. And I said, ain't no way in hell somebody gonna tell me that I can graduate or I can't graduate. My portfolio isn't good enough. Absolutely not. So it led to web design. Looking into prerequisites for the major, stuff like that. And really what motivated me the most was that the only math I had to take was college algebra. And I hate math. I'm passionate. Oh, I hate math. So I was like, all right, this is perfect for me. This is all I gotta take. All right, then I'm good to go. I'm Gucci. And so that was my main field, some of that. So my entire like time at Valencia, I was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Finishing my AA, but I was also taking the prerequisites for my bachelor. And it counted, and I was able to finish a lot of things quicker than what I was if I just took everything, like just core classes at Valencia, waited the field I was gonna major, and I said, damn, because at Valencia was cheaper. That was a lot more to do. So there's that. I got UCF. You know, I was taking my core classes. Like literally, the only class I couldn't take at Valencia was the class I was going for my major, and I was only offered all UCF. So I was like, all right, I'm cool with that. So after that, I graduated 2017. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. And from there, you know, I had already, you know, just had a major, just graduated and some of that. And I had that moment in time where everybody struggles with what they're trying to do. Like they're like finding themselves after they graduated, you know, trying to find something they want to do for us, so trying to find a job in their field. Because a lot of jobs, they want like 3 years experience. Mm-hmm. But you can't get that if you're just graduating school. Mm-hmm. And then, what professional experience do you have? But I really don't have much professional experience because I didn't really, like, I was working as a manager at the airport, you know, at the spa, and I was also like, you know, doing freelance stuff here and there. but it wasn't really enough to like qualify as experience because all I had was just that one freelance gig, and I was like on retainer with a company who's no longer in business right now. So basically, I was working at Raccoon Shoes, you know, grateful that I had a job, but it just, when you don't want to work somewhere, you just grow to like hate that place. And it's not the place at all. It's just you. I found a spot in myself where I felt as if I didn't have purpose. Like, I went to school, I spent all this money for this degree, and I'm selling shoes. That didn't add up to me. Like, that didn't make sense. You know, another thing is also, it's just like, I can't really think of too many people out there who are just okay with just selling shoes if you went to school for like something else. Another thing is also, it's just like, I've always been very family oriented, so I can't really think of a way that I can really like come home to like, you know, my girl's parents at the time, you know, like that, like, you know, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, I sell shoes. How can I really take care of my daughter? And that's that mentality I had, like, what am I doing to prepare for my future, and what can I do to make my kids? That's my dad, he makes websites. Oh, that's my dad, he sells shoes. Like, what holds more value to me, and what would my kids be more proud of saying that what does your dad do, or what can really have me have a comfortable life for me and my family? Is what I was looking forward to. And so I was selling shoes, stuff like that, and I worked Black Friday as a manager. I was hated that. I hated that. That was the worst. I would never wish Black Friday as an employee at a shoe store upon anybody. Like, if you work at any shoe store, I applaud you. If you work any retail store, it is a nightmare for Black Friday, especially if you're a manager, because you have to be there. It's the worst. And so my friend Bonnie, met her in college. I met her there. I was working at the airport. I met Bonnie, and she was working at this place I'm working at now. And she was like, do you do you want a job working, doing websites? And I was just like, yeah. What you mean? Yeah. Like, I don't even tell her. Like, yeah, of course I want a job for that. And she was telling me, she's telling me about the job. She's like, it's not really like, it's a good entry job. It's like, get your foot through the door. And I was just like, honestly, like, it's better than selling shoes. So that's straight. So that, went in for the interview, they had me do like a test thing and stuff like that. So what they wanted me to do, they wanted me to work on a page, like for the website they already had made, like just a section on, just see if I knew how to use the platform and stuff like that. It was WordPress. And when I did it, I just did like the whole page, like it had information, I plugged it in, like pictures like that, and they were just like, well, what's taking you so long to finish the session? I was just like, I thought I had to do a whole page. And when they saw it, they were just like, no, we just need you to do this one section. I was just like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know. Like, I genuinely didn't know. And they was like, no, this is good. Thank you. Like, thank you. So there's that. And then, that next week, I got a call in, and they were like, we'd love to have you if you want to come join. I was like, yeah, definitely. Put in my 2 weeks at my shoot. As soon as I got that, yes, we want to hire you, and as soon as I got that letter of like my offer, put in my 2 week notice, and I filled out a letter of resignation. And like when I left last May, like right before summer came, and I already knew like when summer came, I was gonna have cases for days, like cases of shoes, like 80 something cases, and it was gonna be summertime, so a whole bunch of shoes coming in for like the fall, like Black Friday, so that we like. I was like, no, I'm not trying to do that this year. I'm not trying to do it. So I was hell bent on finding a job somewhere else for summer started. I did not want to be there. And everything's fell into place. I thank Bonnie every time I talk to her. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to like really like hone my craft, because I was starting to lose confidence in myself and what my capabilities of being a web designer was and stuff like that. So I got started with my current job now, and it was interesting at first. It really showed me that a lot of people don't care if you know HTML coding, if you know your principles and stuff like that. A lot of people don't really notice a difference between HTML and WordPress sites. UCF's website is made through WordPress. A lot of people don't know that. if you to test a website, like to see if it's WordPress, like you type in /wp-admin, and then if it's that, boom, it'll pop up saying WordPress login. UCF being an accredited school at such a large scale like that, you need to test a WordPress website. That's saying something. Disney's one of their Japanese stores at Epcot, their website's WordPress. Disney got money to buy. Disney has enough budget to make somebody a decent website. You can't hack that, but it's possible to log it. But I don't get that yet. But I'm not saying that I tried. I'm not saying I do anything like that. But I'm saying it is you can log in on the back end of WordPress admin.
Okay.
And just seeing how many people just need a website and they just want it up and running just to get it quickly done. There's a large market for that. So over the time, I started doing a lot of things and stuff like that. And what really made me kind of go into my own business interest a little bit was just seeing how much people needed that. And seeing how much people were paying for a WordPress website. Because something I went to school for to show that people pay all this money for an HTML website, but then here they are paying that pretty much that exact same amount for a WordPress website. And I was like, damn, people really paying that? People really paying $800 for a WordPress website? What? So that's what really drove me to run my business. Seeing the potential and profit that I could get, and also the fact that a lot of people need it. Little mom and pop shops, startup companies, first time business owners, stuff like that. It's always good to have a strong web presence. Nowadays, everybody has a phone. Everybody has internet access. You are going to need a strong internet presence if you want to grow your business or your brand. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if that is always something I will always talk about all the time. You need a strong internet presence. Because nowadays, with everything being in the digital age nowadays, it's no longer brick and mortar shops. Mm-hmm. You have Amazon. People order stuff on Amazon. They don't have a physical store. They have lockers now, but they started all online. Look how they're building it now. Now, I'm not going to say I can compete with Amazon. I'm not, but
eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I would like to, but ultimately, you need to have that strong online presence, and you need to have that first thing. When you go to a website, that's an extension of you, and this is what people are first going to see. If your website is shitty, they're not going to look your way. I tell you right now, if I go to a website and there's just too much going on, I leave. That's me. Mm-hmm. But another thing also is just how are you building your clientele? Are you driving traffic to your website? Stuff like that. That's something that's something a lot of people understand. You can have a banging website, but how are you generating traffic to it? Mm-hmm. Now, my whole business practice, I told myself, once I got at least 6-7 clients done, I would gauge it and see. And I did get 6-7 clients done myself, personal wise on the side. And I said, this is for me. This is what I want to do. So this year, pretty much when everything started hitting, COVID, Corona, stuff like that, we all work from home, we all got furloughed and stuff like that. I told people, if there was ever a time where you were going to say, damn, if I had time to sit down and plan everything out and just do everything, have this, I would do it. Hell, the opportunity presented itself right there. So all that time when you said you were going to do it, it really separated the whole, am I going to run my business, or am I just going to be all talk and just say, oh, well, damn, the opportunity passed itself. Mm-hmm. So I did something at that time. I was constructive with it. I spent hours perfecting my work, my site, my craft. I looked into all this different stuff. Even to now, if there's something you need, I'm pretty positive I offer it. When it comes from different ideas for your website, you have a consultation. You'll definitely have that whole experience, on a personal, personal experience, I vibe you, stuff like that. Let's say, You have a.
Well, here, let's get right into it, right? So, welcome to the Jargon podcast. It's your host RubenHood, and it's my special guest,
Don.
You already know. Now he's been working on his website, and like he kind of just introduced to us in his grand adventure of finding web design and his passion for it. I think that not only is it great that you took the steps through it, but do you ever feel like the things that you did before have helped you with your web design? Like, for instance, the criminal justice degree that you were working on, and then the game design that you kind of were looking into, and then eventually get into web design. Did that kind of give you more perspective on how you want to create your business or work?
Well, in that regard, I really felt as if, all of that is oversaturated.
Okay.
I had to look for what was trending, what was going to be in development in the next, 10 years. Like I said, that was back in 2012. Mm-hmm. We're now in 2020. So I had to look and see how I had to look and see what was going to be trending in the later years. We were moving in a more digital age where websites were more needed. Yeah. Where you had to have a strong web presence. I was like, everybody's going to do a website. That's a job that is not going away anytime soon. Mm-hmm. No matter. As long as we keep moving in the digital age, a web person is always going to be needed. So why not?
Yeah, that's true.
I can literally work remote, like I've been doing since my job has had the privilege of. Now I had the privilege of working from home. If I was working somewhere else, I couldn't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. And I feel as if with me having this particular field, it developed that door for me. If I was majoring in criminal justice, I had a criminal justice job, I can work from home.
True.
If I had a game design job, I could work from home, but a lot of the times, being a game designer, you're in the studio working all day, you cranking out the hours, just cranking stuff out, and it's just that's too demanding. I'm not the most artistic person in the world, so I can't draw to save my freaking life. So you're gonna get a bomb stick figure game though, but it wasn't gonna be anything wham.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting that you mentioned how game design is very strict, because the previous person that I just worked with, Charlene, and her boyfriend, they are both game designers to an extent, and they're exactly going through what you're going through. Like, they're working from home, but it's super crunch time. You know what I mean? And then just something that I think is interesting too is, now that you're working from home and you have that comfortability, do you feel like that creative space gives you more of an outlet to kind of produce your best work, or what do you think about your environment?
I do feel more like I'm not rushed, which I can give my best quality work. Now, I will say it does take a lot of focus and a lot of I need to get this done to just you're focused on one task, because you can get easily distracted if you work from home. You have all this stuff damn, I need to go grocery shopping. Damn, I need to refill this. I want to watch on Netflix, and it's just you have a lot of other things that are distracting you that you just need to be all right, well, that's that. Mm-hmm. Nah, I can't do it. So it does take a lot of I'm trying to think of the word for it. Self-focus and can't think of the word right now, but it's
self-discipline.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, discipline. Yes, discipline. You have a lot of discipline in order to really stay focused. And when I moved into my new unit, I had a 1-1, and I'm gonna say this 1-1 was maybe the size of your living room.
Oh wow, that's pretty tight.
It was 560 square feet. It was small. I would come through the door of my house and I would just have the couch, my computer, my kitchen, my TV, and that was it. And I wanted a bigger unit because I wanted to have an office. I wanted to separate my home life from my work life. So anytime I can just get up, leave my office, go sit on the couch and just relax and just drain for the day.
Gotcha.
With me living in an old unit, was a small little 560 square foot. I felt as though I could never escape my work life. Mm-hmm. And that's what I did not want. And I felt that was very limiting to my creativity, and I felt that was very limiting to me as it was mentally exhausting. Mm-hmm. It was just I couldn't escape. I couldn't breathe. From the time I wake up, on the computer working. From the time I go to bed, on the computer working. Wake up, rinse, repeat. And I just couldn't do it. So I'm glad I got a bigger unit, and I got an office. You've seen the office. Mm-hmm. Everything is set up how I want it to be. I got everything there as an office environment to where I can just I can be okay with work. I get up, clock in at 8:30 for my job, go in the office, been there all day. Somebody gets embarrassed with that, walk around but For the most part, that's it.
Okay, so because the way I see it is that you describe it, it's like you needed to compartmentalize like all your pieces, you know, like you had your workspace and you had your kitchen and you had your bedroom and all that stuff was good. You have your living room now and everything like that. So now that you developed your home space in that type of way, does that kind of, I don't, maybe I'm like reaching here, but in an abstract way, does that kind of get into your web design aspect where it's like, because the way you describe it, it's like you want websites to be simple, right? And so you have the pieces divided up into different sections and stuff like that. The same way you kind of have like your house set up. Does that sound weird or?
A little, but I kind of understand what you mean. Like,
almost like a reflection, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how I'm wording that. I'm trying to figure out how I'm wording the response. I mean, like, so really, like, I want my web. Like, I don't want to mix like my work life with my home.
Yeah, at all.
Whenever I'm in my office, I'm clocked in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be for my job, whether it be for my business, I'm clocked in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whenever I'm out that office, I'm sitting on the couch watching something on Netflix. I'm doing that. That's all I'm showing. I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm off the clock. I don't bother about anything for work. I don't do anything for work. So I'm just relaxed. Clock out from work at 5. I'll be chilling on that couch from like 5:30 to like 7. Just chill, just relax all day. Because I need a mental break.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the computer all day doing websites, it is mentally exhausting. Get headaches so bad.
How do you kind of balance that? Like the whole like mental stress and keeping yourself not just focused and engaged, but repeatedly in that process.
I mean, I go on walks like around my apartment complex, like fresh air.
Okay,
You know, you just need that fresh air, just like get out and just like step away from everything. Step away from the office, step away from like your work environment, in your house, just like get that fresh air, and really just like breathe and like 'cause being inside all day, like air conditioning ain't good for you. Air conditioning is not good for you. But you know, fresh air, it feels a lot better. I go on maybe like 2-3 laps from my apartment complex. I maybe walk to the Walgreens, walk back to my house. That's it. And I'll do that every other day after work. Of course, if it's not raining, it's raining. Shout out to hurricane season.
Coming soon.
It's already happening, bro. It's raining every other day. And there's that. And then I'm just it's just good to have fresh air.
Yeah.
That's my break away from everything. Like, take a couple laps on the music like that, you know, listen to music while working. I really fell in love with a lot of lo-fi hip hop and lo-fi beats.
Shout out to lo-fi. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like, hey, you know me for years. You know my music. You know my music. Like, you know what type of music I listen to. And when I was in college, what helped me focus, staying up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning doing coding assignments, was lo-fi hip hop and lo-fi beats and just chill hop and just like background noise, just like keep me focused. So when I have that on while I'm working, I stay focused, and I'm able to just like, I don't get distracted, I just stay disciplined, I just like, boom, boom, and I just knock out stuff.
That's what's up.
So that's what honestly just like, it's what's beneficial to me.
So let's take a breath of fresh air real quick, and we'll get right back to it. All right, and we are back after the little break. So something that was interesting was the fact that you were talking about like school and stuff like that. So how did school, now it's obvious that school definitely helped you throughout your career or throughout your training to become a web designer, but how exactly did that all entail for you?
So when I was in school, and I even talk about some of my colleagues now about the stuff that we all in my past. I keep in touch with a lot of people from class, like my class and stuff like that. And there was a lot of things that they spoke on, but they didn't really prepare us for. You know, prime example, you know, being like I was saying earlier, you know, the coding and stuff like that. Like, there was a lot of languages out there that they spoke on, but they didn't really teach us. Now, that's not really our professor's fault. It's not nobody's fault, but like, you know, it was up to us as students to really look into it ourselves. Now, if I would have known half the stuff I know now, I would have prepared myself a lot better. You know, I would have looked for internships. I would have looked into what coding languages are going to be applicable to me after I graduate, that they don't teach us there. it teaches like the basic, HTML, JavaScript, CSS. So that's basic. That's the groundwork for every single coding language, no matter what. But they didn't teach us like they mentioned Angular. But they didn't teach us any like in depth. They didn't have us do any assignments like with that code language, or Node.js or Python or Angular or anything like that. That was something that we had to really look into ourselves later and figure out how to use it and what to do with it. I had a professor, and after I had him as a professor, I realized that coding wasn't for me. Mm-hmm. I realized that. And it wasn't like anything that he was doing wrong. It was just like, he just really opened my eyes to what my passion was. And it was web design. A lot of people know it's UX, it's a lot of things with web design. You have front end development and back end development. Front end development is UX and UI design, wireframing, how things are gonna work out, layering and stuff like that, how things are gonna look on the website, color schemes, stuff like that. And there's back end development, which is like the hard end, like security coding, like PHP, Python, stuff like that. And it was like, I didn't like coding, so I knew back end development was not for me. So I was mainly looking for front end development jobs, like WordPress, UX, UI design, wireframes, stuff like that. Making wireframes all day. I'm okay with making wireframes all day. UX, UI stands for user experience or user interface.
Okay.
So user experience is how would you go about clicking on the website? Where would you go to try to navigate for the website? And so that user experience or user interface is how the website's gonna look. So like, where's the home button gonna be? Where's the navigation menu gonna be? Stuff like that. Experience, UX, UI, like that. Now, I had more fun doing that than I did coding.
Okay.
With WordPress as the platform, it's a content management system, as WordPress is, and you pretty much do anything you can do with coding that you can do with WordPress.
Okay.
Like UX, UI design, stuff like that, and there's a theme for everything, and there's a plugin for everything. Not there's one out there. So they spoke on content management systems and how they were saying they eventually will make them obsolete, like all coding languages like that. I'm not gonna say obsolete, but the only place that are really hire for a coding place is like high paying jobs. You've been doing this for years. Now I'll even get job offers now for hey, we have these for a front end developer, it's gonna pay all this money, X amount per year, what a code language, I'm just buddy, I don't code. I would love this offer, but I'm if it's what I'm telling you I can and can't do, then it's not for me. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to even bother to do anything. I tell the recruiter, I hate recruiters. I really do. I've had the worst experience with job recruiters. They'll recruit you fresh out of college, boom, okay, yeah, you got all these things like that. I've read several recruiters, and I told them all the time, listen, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. So if you're telling me after I've told you what I can and can't do, this is going to be what I'm going to do. Do you feel as if I would be a good fit for this? That's what I'm asking you. And they'll think about it. Oh, well, yeah, just submit your resume and I'll see what I can do. That's all you need to hear. Thank you. And college really just, it really I was talking about classmates too, they should have really had it required us to do internships.
Yeah.
Before we graduated. Before you graduate, you have 40 hours of intern work completed. And just so we have that experience to say this is what they're at, this is what they're in demand for outside of college. Mm-hmm. This is what they're going to be needing, this is what they're going to be doing, is they're going to probably have us do. Have us experience some work in the field before we graduate, because at that point we are better prepared for what we're going to be facing now. So probably that whole year or 2 year gap where you just don't know what the hell you want to do after you graduate, it probably won't happen because you know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. A lot of places you intern at, they give you a job after that. It may not be the best paying job, but it's still something in that field. It's you've been here for a minute, here's your experience. What do you want to do? You want to come work with us or not? A lot of people they had internships and they got jobs. A lot of my classmates. And I was happy. And I feel as if that was required for us, it would have made things a lot easier, but I feel as if that's what separates, the wolves from the sheep. It showed who wants to actually do what they want to do. They just want to just get this degree just to get it done and get it away. But I think that's why they didn't require it of us. So it's a double-edged sword type thing. But me personally, I would have personally preferred it because it would have made things a lot easier for me. but then it wouldn't have prepared me where I'm at right now if I just had it given to me. Like I had to like develop that drive to go get what I wanted to get done, to better myself and to better my business, and to be where I'm at right now, to where I can be okay with missing days from work and knowing that I don't have to I'm comfortable enough to know I have to be like where I'm at right now. Like I'm okay with calling off work for a week and not have to worry about how my bills are going to get paid or how I'm going to have money for lunch. So I know how I'm going to money, and that's basically what happened in college. That kind of made me feel like it is now, like a wake up call. So you know,
Yeah.
I remember really wake up call.
You were selling shoes and you were like, I'm tired of walking. I want to fly.
Oh my god, I hated that. I hated being a man in Iraq. It was like,
Well, what's interesting really about the aspect of yourself when you talk about schooling and the internships and stuff and how you had to be a go-getter about it, I've always felt like a lot of what school entails is really about, well, at least a lot about college is that the grades are necessary, but what's really important is everything else. Like kind of like you're explaining, and that your journey kind of getting through that really taught you everything that you needed to know and gave you that drive. And so what is it that kind of, I guess in a simple way to put it, hold on, you're gonna have to give me a second. Well, go ahead.
well,
Actually, it seems like you would say something.
Well, I wouldn't say grades are important after school. They are important. I'm not writing them off because they're not important. That is a very important thing when you're in school. Because that's the determine if you have to take from class again or not.
Yeah.
If you have to spend the money out of your pocket to figure that class again. But even at my current job now, they didn't ask me, what was your GPA in college?
Right.
Can you do this or no? You're hired.
Yeah.
That's all that's for. Grades have no determining factor on whether or not you're going to get a job or not. And even throughout elementary school, middle school, high school, they put into a student's brain, grades are important. Grades are what they look at for in college. You get to college, bro, what the hell is this? Like, I had class like a whole bunch of 18-year-olds. I've had classes like people who are in their 30s and 40s. Chill. And I'm like, all right, cool, all right, but college is such a laid-back environment. Like everything they said like talking about high school, like oh, like press are gonna be strict about that. Press don't care. Like look, one of my friends was listen, like this is the deadline for it. If y'all turn it in, y'all get the grade. If not, that's y'all grade. That's y'all last. Not mine. They are the realest. They're the realest people in the world. And that's good. We're there to be adults. Be treated as adults, not kids. Like yeah, you know, they'll give us some slow cuts, some psychology if you're a freshman, something like that. When you like your sophomore, like you could do like your junior, senior year, freshman there. You're like, listen, bro. Assignment's due on this day. Here's that. If you don't get to do it, let me know. If you can't, we'll work something out. If you don't let me know, I won't know, and they don't care. A lot of people, a lot of professors, they can sift through bullshit a mile away. They know if a student really does have something going on, or they'll know if a student doesn't want to do it. I had a professor in college, and it was like my spring semester. And this class is only offered like once a year. But the thing with like when you get like your senior level classes, you have the same professor for all of your classes, no matter what. Like it's just one professor teaching like a whole bunch of stuff. But that's just how it is. Like, it's just, no matter what college you don't have that one professor, no matter what you do, no matter what your major is. And this professor, it was like his first year teaching and stuff like that. And now I had already like failed that class the previous spring. So that was my second time taking class with the professor. And his name is Joey Fanfarelli. You know, I tell him all the time, you know, he's my mentor. I look at him as my mentor. He's been in the field for so long. You know, anything I do business-wise or business venture, I let him know because I'm just like, this is what I'm doing to what I better myself. And I took his class, spring semester, and I was failing. Like, I was lazy. I'm not gonna lie. I gave excuses for everything, and I just did not have that discipline, and I was trying to do things to skate by, because I was like, whatever, I'll never do this. And I withdrew from his class. After the second assignment, I withdrew from his class, and I was just like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna be here for it. No, I can't. And this is actually before spring break or during spring, I can't remember. But I thought about it, and, you know, I slept on it. Like I said, you know, my main drive was, you know, what would my kids think about? Like, how would I tell my kids about the story? What would give them? You know, like I said, you know, I couldn't, like, be content with just working in a regular dead-end college job, like 9 to 5, like, working at the airport or something like that, and, like, me personally, not because people work at airports, just I just personally couldn't do it. And I was just like, so I went back into class, I went back to school, and they actually have a deadline, like a period, like after you drop from class, you can re-enroll in the class.
Mm-hmm.
After, like, I didn't know that till that day. And so I went, like, so after that, you know, I went back to his class, and he kind of looked at the class, like, kind of weird, like, okay. So after class, I walked in, he was like, I thought you withdrew from, I saw you withdrew from my class. I was like, I did, you're right, you're right, but I did. And I'm like, I couldn't be okay with myself if I just gave up without trying to pass your class. He looked at me, he was just like, okay. He was just like, well, I mean, your odds don't look really good. I'm just like I said, I'd feel better about myself knowing that I did this, and I'm like, you know, I did everything out. I'm like, you know, I calculated everything. You know, you said that you can calculate grades over that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I calculated everything and something down. I'm like, if I do everything that's 100% much, I can finish this class with at least a 70, at least a C.
Wow.
And that's passing. I'm like, you know, I'm trying to do whatever it takes. You know, I'm doing office hours every week. I'm asking about shit like in your office hour, like one-on-one, to kind of get a better idea of what I need to do for the assignments due here. I'm like, you know, it is what it is. I just need to know that I did everything I possibly could. If I don't pass class like this, I would be more okay with not passing and failing than I did with just withdrawing as saying, well, there could have been. I ended up passing this class with exactly a 70.
Gang.
I literally, like, and it was by the grace of God. Like, I did the extra credit. I was in that man's office. I'm pretty positive he was tired of seeing me in his office hours every week. I'm almost positive he was. Because I was just, in his office hours, just like, what do I do now? What do you think of this idea for that? And he was like, that's fine. That's okay. You know, he really had the patience of it. And he really told me, like, a lot of things, like, a lot of professors, like why certain professors are the way they are, like, why they have their own audits, and, like, how they're not just always being assholes, how they have to do things otherwise, that's their job. And it opened my door, it opened my eyes to a lot of things that they're just like, how they are. It's like, you know, like, they're not always out to get you, not always assholes, they are this way for a reason. And that kind of made me understand things from an outside looking in, like, from their side of the story, from their point of view and stuff like that. And, but that was pretty much it with that. And then, you know, even now, like, you know, I talk to them still and stuff like that, and, like I said, they're there to talk to their people. Like, if you have any question about anything in life, you know, professors are always going to be there for you and help you out. And even after you graduate, it's still going to be like a major thing now. And I think, like, my college experience is pretty much like really like spoke on that matter with that, and I think that's what really like benefited me a lot with what I'm at right now.
I think that's really awesome because we're kind of in sync. Because as soon as you were like talking about grades and stuff, I was like, "Yo, who did he mentor? Like, does he have any mentors, especially nowadays?" And then since you mentioned, what was the name again? Jason what?
Joey Fanfarella.
Joey Fanfarella.
Yeah,
and so now that you know what I'm saying, have a mentor, someone that you can look back on, that's something like it's just very important to someone's development, is having someone that's better than them, you know, in terms of that.
So, like, he's been in this field for a while. You know, he's done it all in this field. That's to say, you know, if anybody's gonna have a good like understanding of what would be a good business practice, what would be that, it'd be this guy. And you know, he's nice guy like that, and like he's a real chill guy and stuff like that. You know, he's not like he's down to earth guy, and not have nothing bad to say about this man, like, ever. And he's just he's a real cool guy. Like I say, you know, anytime I have a question about something, I ask him. You know, like, you know, what do you think of this? What have you seen that could maybe change how this outcome was before I did that? And vice versa. And he gives me a lot of feedback. You know, if I make anything change in my portfolio, I run it by him. Okay, professor, this is what I did. Call Joe down. Hey, you know, hey Joey, this is what I did with my portfolio. Take a look at it. Give me your feedback. What do you think? Whatever this man tells me to do, I look at it. I do it. I said, this man tells me make this padding a little bit smaller. Done.
That's what's up.
He was like, this is probably needed. I'm like, no, like, if that's what you think, as a from another person, but there's probably somebody who thinks that exact same thing you think. Being nitpicky goes on, like, and I have learned a lot about constructive criticism. Like, I don't look at criticism as a negative thing. People's hating on me. No, people have something to say about you because they if they really care about what you're doing, they're going to critique how it is that you do it, and they want to bring out the best in you because they know you can do better. And that's what I take all of my critique for my websites, all of my critique for my portfolio as a way to benefit me and my business and what it is I'm doing to make my life better and easier for me. And also for clients' point of view as well.
Of course. Excuse me. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, if a client's easy, then your job's easy. If you have a easy life, then if your client is not a headache and your client just knows what they want with that, then it's going to be good. College doesn't really teach you about how to handle a headache client. They don't teach you that at all. That's something that you got to figure out as you go, because not everybody's the same. And I've had headache clients. I've had people like get mad at me. I've had people just like really like hate how I did their website. But then that opposite story. I've had people who's nice. I've had people who love my website. I've had people who done like, they see the website once, they love it, they want it. That's it. Easy for me. That's just how it is. Like college too, you always have like the pros and cons of doing a website. They'll tell you, you'll always have two sides. Like, they'll tell you about that. They don't tell you how to handle an irate client or how to handle like a sticky situation to where it could part of that. They do tell you though, no matter what you do, have a contract. Have some sort of document that covers your ass. And that is one thing that I will always have no matter what. If you're a friend or not, even if you're family, you need to give me that contract as writing so that if anything happens, my ass is covered. And that's just something they want to say. Make sure your ass is always covered no matter what you do. And that is exactly what I have done. And I enjoy it. It is a definitely valuable learning experience. And that's pretty much what college has pretty much like built me towards my career.
Gotcha. So we're going to take a quick break here because there's something interesting that I definitely want to get into that you've kind of brought up a couple times.
Okay.
So we'll be right back after this break. I hope y'all are ready. And we'll see you soon. All right, welcome back, everybody. So I just had, it's interesting how throughout like your journey and stuff like that, there's just something that's really been motivating you. And I feel like it's something that's very cool and something that a lot of people don't really appreciate when it comes to connections and relationships. And so I just want to ask you, what do you think about legacy?
I feel as if legacy really determines what it is that you are trying to define yourself as. Everything that I do from when I first started college, like really like after my sophomore year, I just decided, what's going to be my legacy? What is it that my family, like me, like not my mom, my future family, my wife, my kids, what is it that they're going to be known? What are they going to know me as? What am I going to know me as? And that's something that I've always driven myself by. I've had several conversations with several different people, and I tell them all the time, I'm not here to play around. I'm here to define myself or what it is I'm trying to go for. My biggest thing when I used to beat myself up for days was I wouldn't think about just the now. I would think about, damn, okay, if I don't pass this class, I don't pass. I used to overdo this shit so much. Like I think I'm a fucking fool for that, but I said, damn, like if I don't pass this class, I won't get this degree. And if I get this degree, then I won't have a job, pay for my family, pay for things like that, and I won't be able to like provide for my family. That was my biggest fear. My biggest fear, like to this day, is not being able to provide for my family. And that is what drove me the most to really define my legacy. Being a web designer, you're going to have your hand in a lot of different websites. You're going to have your hand in a lot of different organizations, a lot of different businesses, and a lot of different companies. And I feel as if your website is popping, there's, damn, who did your website? That's going to make my legacy. Oh, this guy did it. So from a developer standpoint of view, and I have at least my hand in a lot of different industries that I did their website, from beverages to music to even fashion, and that's something I did for them, that's going to define my legacy. Because at that point, now my name is known amongst these three major industries. Mm-hmm. My kids.
That shockwave.
My kids will know. And everybody will know my kid's name and my name because even my girlfriend's and my wife's name, they'll know who I am because of what I've done. They'll know this man put together my whole fucking website. He was there for me from the ground up, building with me. So a lot of people know me in Orlando because when I was like in high school still, I was like at all these different college events, like with my sister and stuff like that. So a lot of things I've seen like that I should have experienced in college, I experienced at a younger age. So when I got to college, I was already jaded by that. Like I was just like, I've been there, done that. Like I don't need all these distractions. Like been to it, cool. Went saw it once. All right, been there. All right, I can use the time. I could do that. Focus on something else. Mm-hmm. Building my legacy, building my groundwork and my plans, and that's what really stuck with me throughout my whole life. I guess my college life, like my adult life actually was what will define my legacy. You know, my full name is DonW Wallace III.
Oh, say that a little slower for everybody. You're like, my name is.
My full name is Donald McDaniel Wallace III, which is I'm the third in my family's my name. I had to find something that would make me stand out from my dad and my granddad's name. What would they know Don the Third for? What would they know Don the Third's kids for? What would they? That was my main goal. Like, what would make me different from my dad and my granddad, even though we all share the exact same name, and we're not just all right. Well, all the Wallaces do this. Mm-hmm. My dad's a cop. So like, yeah, all right, he's gonna be a cop too. Nah, buddy, nah, I'm not cut for that.
Okay.
Yeah, nah, that's a different realm right there. But not against any law enforcement. I have a lot of law enforcement with that, and that's a great thing. But it's just, I'm just not cut out for that. Mm-hmm. I'm not cut out for that life of being a cop. And it's a very dangerous field. And not to get in that question like that, but it's just like, that's not what my legacy was. That's my dad's legacy, and I'm following in my dad's footsteps. And continuing that Wallace brand legacy. But not me legacy. And what my kids are going to be known for. And what realm that probably will do. If I'm doing websites for a company, like a clothing company, if they want to get in that industry, I know people that can get them started to start their legacy. That's what really pushed me more to do websites. What can my legacy open up the doors for my kids when they want to start building their legacy? And that's what really like put the nail in the coffin for me, was just that certified.
That's what's up. And then it's yeah, that's first of all, that's amazing. The fact that you thought like so in depth about it. And I think it's interesting too that in your own way you're already shaping your future legacy to be about building your own legacy, like you said, and I think that's what's really great. And maybe did your family life when you were at home, stuff like that, before you decided to move out, did that kind of develop that like personality subconsciously, or was it more of just a thing that popped up? I
mean, it was already developing there since like I lived in my parents' house. Like my mentality hasn't changed whether it has been when I was living in my parents' house or I was living in my home. Like that mentality's always been there. Like I was going to develop that legacy for me. Mm-hmm. You know, I've made websites for beverage industry. And what if my kids want to do a business on their own? Let me start a juice business. What if they want to start like an alcohol business? Yeah, let me put you in the right direction. Let me talk to this person. You can get all the you can get all the information you need to start your own business. You can start your legacy. It's like that. You want to get into music? Okay, but what did this person do? I'll let you talk to this person, and they'll put you in the right direction who you need to talk to kind of get in that session. You want to get a studio session? Bet. I'll get you that person you talk to about the business and like that, and we'll move forward. You move forward from there. That's you, and stuff like that, and vice versa. Now, I do feel as if no matter who you are throughout history, legacies are always going to be there. Mm-hmm. How we read about in history, or somebody else's legacy.
That's true.
Like, even from like we're obviously, you've always read that somebody else's, like, you've always read about other people's legacies, like what they were known for, what they did, whether it be bad or good. That that's their legacy, and that's their family's name. That's going to be throughout the history books. What would make me known and what my kids will be known, I'm still defining that. Now, I don't care about fame. I've never been the type to be like in the light and stuff like that. I've never been that type of person. But people who know me, they know me. Mm-hmm. And they know how I am, they respect that, and vice versa. I don't care about the fame, I don't care about that. I just want respect. And as long as I have that respect, as long as I give respect when I do my due diligence, things will open up on themselves. That's how I've always felt. And that's that. So.
That's what's up. So when you decided to become a web designer and stuff like that, what did your father think? Like when you decided to change, because I'm guessing criminal justice might have been like his like way of being like, well, see if you want to do the family business or something like that.
Well, he didn't really, my dad never really pushed me to do criminal justice. That was just something I just kind of like, because I saw my sisters doing it.
Oh, okay.
So my older sister's majored in criminal justice, and my other sister's majored in criminal justice and psychology.
Okay.
And it's just, all right, well, what are you going to do? Criminal justice, I guess. When I was in high school, I just wanted to be an anesthesiologist. People put you to sleep before you go to get surgery. That was with me. And I was just like, listen, like, I don't want to like put somebody under for too long and they just don't wake up. That's my, nah, we can't have that. So I was just like, so I just say criminal justice kind of like, all right, that's what I'm going to do. But, I had to really like, my dad, I had to afford prepaid. So it was, he helped pay for it. He paid for a lot of that. He actually paid all of it. And, it was ultimately his money. And I said, I didn't want to have like some dead-end degree like game design. He was like, why am I paying money for this? Mm-hmm. So I told him, I was like, listen, I want to do web design. There's a lot of things, the world's moving in a digital age, everybody's on the website, there's a lot of job opportunities for that. It's a lot of money to be made in that field because no matter what, somebody is going to need a website and somebody is a business going to pay for that website to be made, and that's going to be that. I'm like, okay, whatever. As long as you thought about it, that's all he said. My dad never discouraged anything I wanted to do. As long as I had a just reason behind why I was doing something, that's all he wanted to hear. That was it. So he didn't hold that whole, you're gonna do the family business. He was just wanted to have from what I think at least, I haven't asked him, I was just more so like, he just wanted his kids to be able to not have to stress about anything. And not have to worry about how they're going to make money or how they're going to make their next check to check, how they're going to paycheck to paycheck. He wanted them to go to school, focus, have a career, and do something that they want to do so they can make money and like, start their life. That's what it was. That's that question.
That's a good way to put it. Like just for me personally, not me specifically, but my older sister, she wanted to become a doctor, not an anesthesiologist. She became an OBGYN, and she just recently finished. And she's pretty much using that capital that she's gonna gain to start her own business, and she wants to kind of start something in the future. I won't mention it because I'll leave it up to her to kind of bring that up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. But in terms of for yourself, are you thinking of other projects that you want to build up besides like your own web designing company?
There are certain things that I do want to do. Of course, it's going to be digital. Mm-hmm. I do eventually want to have like my own hub. Like,
oh, that would be dope.
Like you come to me, like kind of like a Netflix type thing, like because that's what we're doing right now. My job is for that, and it's a lot of profit from that. We secure the domain for you, people hosting for you, pay us monthly to run it for you. I think that's pretty self-tax. You're paying me monthly to make sure your website stays up. I pay your domain and stuff like that. And then whenever you're ready to stop, all right, cool, cut the cord. You lose your website, of course, like I make a backup of the websites that I do for that no matter what. Like, even if we don't work out and you cancel the order, I'll still have backup seconds. No matter what, I promise you, you will come back. And this has happened to me where somebody has said, you know what, I want to continue. Oh, okay, now you went, okay, cool. And a lot of the times it's not like anything bad blood, it's just they didn't have the money to finish or something happened, which is understandable, shit happens. Mm-hmm. And I always have backup sites for that, to where now, like, if a client comes back to me from 3 months ago, they want to say, you know what, I want to pick where we left off at, cool, we can. And that's how we do it. And that's basically it.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, we're gonna cut it right here just for this quick segment, and we'll be right back after these messages, which there are none. Other than stay tuned. All right, and we are back for the finale. So now, before we officially go and say goodbye to everybody, is there anything that you'd like to say next, Don the Third?
DonW.
My bad, DonW.
So, I mean, if you want to do any websites for me in the future and stuff like that, check out my website, designsbydonw.com. On there we can book a consultation, $20, 30 minutes. And that, you'll get a questionnaire sent to you along with like a time that you picked. And that questionnaire is going to kind of go over everything for us, so I can talk to you, kind of make everything a lot more easier. On that questionnaire, it's going to ask you, do you have a logo? Do you need any policies made? A lot of people don't know this, but you need to have like some sort of policy on your website to cover your ads. And a lot of people don't know that. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good thing that we can talk about and stuff like that too. And also I do have like my licensing for stock photos, and, social media setup and stuff like that. So we can definitely talk about a lot. Definitely like that's something we can talk about as well too. But my websites are affordable. I'm not gonna break your pocket. I make everything for like a budget website. Like you want a budget, if you want a site, like I promise you, like you may be just starting out, but your website will look as if you've been established for years. And that's one thing that I try to aim for with all of my clients, that you've been in this industry for 15, 20 years. That's just a quality work that I like to produce, because I like to take my time with all of my sites and give them that final look. Mm-hmm. That makes them like, damn, like he's been in the company for at least 10 years. When did you start working? Well, we started the company yesterday. What? A lot of startup companies, they have these crap websites, mm-hmm. like just to get something out there, just to put it up, and they start working on other things. But I think that's backwards. I think that's work counterproductive. You need to have a strong website in order to establish your brand in today's age. That is what I always will say. Mm-hmm. So work with me if you want to get rebranded. If you already had a website up, you want to rebrand yourself, make your website stronger, make it look better, talk to me. We'll work something out. I've worked with everything from beverages, hospitality, music, and a lot of other industries too, and I do have a great sense of what it is that you're going to need to make your business better. So put in a consultation, and whenever you're ready to put a link up, shoot me a note, and we'll work something out.
All right, well, that's great to hear. And I'll put the description for his websites and everything like that, mm-hmm. and all that extra information. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today. I want to thank you again, DonW, for coming in.
Anytime, man.
And it's your host, RubenHood, out.
Peace out, man. It's Don.
Have a great day, everybody.
You too.
Stay inspired. Yeah, he said you too. Oh, Lord.